Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Patriots Den. I am your host, Patrick Prudhomme. I'm here with my amazing co-host,
Brian Fuentes.
Folks, what are we? Second show of April, I think. I don't know.
Yeah, I think so.
Second show of April. Thank you to Radiodabang. We're in for a treat, man. We started off in January, and January we were like, hey, folks, we don't know what's gonna happen. We're not at that 100-day mark yet, folks. We're not at the Trump administration's 100-day mark. That show is going to be, that's going to be great. I might put on a bright blue suit.
We might even have to get some kazoos, man.
Kazoos.
A little kazoo orchestra.
We're going to bring in the kazoo orchestra, folks. We're going to bring in the $900,000 hammer. I'm going to come in a bright blue suit. It's going to be an amazing
We're going to have a live traffic cone counting as well while we're at it.
It's going to be a great 100-day. But we're not there yet. Second show of April. Maybe got one or two more shows before we can really hit that 100 days of the golden era of America. Wow. Feels like yesterday I was just at the inauguration. I'm not gonna lie. It feels like just yesterday I was in DC watching him say, "So help me God."
And the fact is 100 days is coming up. The year is going by really quickly too.
Quickly. We're already 25% through the 2025.
I'm telling you, blink of an eye, 4 years are going to pass. I'm like, whoa.
Yeah.
And we're going to get to see how much work Trump could do and to fix this country and really make it, say it with me, great again.
Folks, let's talk. Before we dive into the Trump thing, before we dive into that, I want to first look at my favorite thing to look at, the liberals, because I love looking at the liberals, right? That's my favorite thing to do.
I mean, who doesn't? They make a fool of themselves. They're always entertaining.
Exactly.
And every time I think about having a bad day, I remember, at least I'm not them.
At least I'm not them. I was actually talking to someone yesterday, and I was like, you know what? Sometimes you think you're doing bad, but there's always someone doing something a little bit worse. That's how we're going to look at it.
Exactly.
The liberals now have this hands-off protest that they've been doing all over the country. They had two in Houston, actually. They had two of them in Houston on the same day. Then you have some in California. They were all over the country. And they were, protesting in front of these Tesla dealerships, which I find it funny because there was a time in America where if you saw someone driving a Tesla, you were like, that's a liberal. That's a Democrat. I know a Democrat when I spot one. And now it's almost as if you see someone driving a Tesla and you got to say, did they buy that to support the Trump administration and what Elon Musk is doing? Or are they a liberal who they just can't afford to turn that car in right now?
You see, Elon Musk could come out in support of Christ himself, be the next, I won't say prophet, bring a new awakening to the United States. And you wouldn't catch me buying a Tesla. No. You know why?
No.
Teslas are gay.
Right.
It could be the straightest looking Tesla ever. It's an electric car, and I don't want an electric car. We live in Texas. Mm-hmm. It takes an hour to go from Houston to Houston. Good luck getting a charger when you're driving this much. Mm-hmm. Maybe if I lived in a small city like, I don't know, Boston, more compact.
Right.
Different story. Might consider it. I live in Houston, If I want to go to Katy, if I want to go to Katy to the radio show, that's an hour drive easily. Traffic, don't even think about it.
Yeah.
Tesla's just, doesn't make sense to me. And for that reason, I'll prefer gasoline any day.
Here's a fun fact for you. This is how you know Teslas are gay. Did you know that there are more electric charging stations in California at this point than there are gas pumps?
Really?
Yeah. So you can eat that. I feel like that's the one-liner that says this is a gay car. This is a gay car when majority of Californians own electric vehicles so much to the point where they had to almost replace gas with that. That's...
Do you think gas would be cheaper at that point then, if more people are riding electric?
Absolutely not. I think gas at one point in California was like $7 a gallon. And I was like, what in the world? Now, granted, we live in Texas, so our version of expensive gas is what, $3?
$4.
$4, But you go to these places like California, $3 and $4, that's a prayer. They wish they could get $3 and $4 gas.
It's like, back then we would pray for rain, Thank God for the rain for the crops. Over there, it's like, please, God, give us $4 gas.
$4 gas. $4 gas is what we need over here in California. Everyone else, it's like...
Oh, maybe I could wait on a fill until it's a bit cheaper.
Right. Because I've seen gas here $1. California will never see that. They'll never see it because of the policies that they have instituted. First off, the entire trucking industry had to rechange itself because of California's idle laws of saving the environment. Californians watched as the governor let their state burn to protect a fish.
Yeah. Like, I'm all for, conserving the environment. God created this beautiful world, and we are here to, be its stewards and, use it, but also protect it. At the same time, how many people died during that wildfire? Yeah. How many billions of dollars were lost over that? Also, to protect some small little fishy?
A smite. It's like a smelt or smite, something like that. It's literally, the fish is like this big. It's smaller than a sardine. And over in New York, they eat them like a delicacy. They eat them left and right. So I'm like, you're not really doing anything. I actually have a friend of mine on Facebook, and while the fires in California were going on, he made it his sole goal to eat as many of those smites as he possibly could, just so he could be like, y'all aren't saving anything over here because I may just eat them. But it's funny, like, last month we had the theme of a belief in something other than, yourself.
Yeah.
The Democrats, it seems as if when they do have a belief in something other than themselves, it's something useless, something stupid, like a fish that no one, quite frankly, knew existed until your state's
literally, it's like, I must be able to do whatever I want with my own body. I must be able to tell you what you must address me by. But I will lay my life on the line for that fish.
For that fish.
That is above everything, which is like, it's clown world. It's genuinely idiocy. It's like, it's so many contradictions. It's so many stupid things. It makes no sense. Like, I think this is like at the heart of why I tell you on the show. The Democrat Party is facing a realignment pretty soon.
Oh, yeah.
Like right now, there's a reason why you don't hear much about them on the news other than a small little protest. Because you remember, 2020, 2016, they were doing big things.
Oh, yeah.
Big protests, really well organized, really big names, but not anymore.
Not anymore.
They lost all the tech people because, well, I'm not saying they're right wing or anything, but they're going where the money is. Trump won. They're going to go with Trump because that's where the money is. Unfortunately for them, that also means for the next 4 years, they're not going to have much support from, Silicon Valley.
Right. And I find it funny. Midterms just kind of, I wouldn't say midterms, but we're kicking off the midterms.
I'd say so.
And, we had those elections where, in Florida, we won, the Republicans won those seats. And then I believe it was Wisconsin where we had the Supreme Court fight, and the Democrat won there. And the article for to announce the win was, Wisconsin says no to the billionaire Elon Musk and elects so-and-so, yada, yada. Well, if you go and you actually look at the numbers of that race and who donated what, you would see George Soros donated more money by himself to the Democrat than that Republican raised at all. So when you sit there and you say, well, the billionaires, we're saying no to the billionaires, that's great and all, but be honest.
No. They're not saying no to the billionaires. They're saying no to the billionaire, singular.
Yeah.
All the other billionaires who have supported Democrats for decades now, they're fine. They can stay. Elon Musk, though? No, he's a Nazi. You can't have his money. And if you do, you're just as bad as him. We need to, key your Tesla for, for supporting that.
Which ruins your own key, by the way, but, go for it. But no, it's the billionaire. They're mad at Elon Musk. They're not against billionaire money. When I watched the DNC leadership elections, the guy stood up there and said, I'm not going to say we need to stop taking corporations' money, but we need to find the good corporations. What? If your party is truly for the common man, truly for the working man, you wouldn't be going to get the corporation money. You could go and get the grassroots.
Yep. If you really were of the people,
Exactly. But the Democrats, they don't have the grassroots anymore. They don't have that. The common man is not looking at the Democrat Party because look what the Democrat Party is doing. You are literally walking around. There's people, one of the big street interview things now is going to these pride parades and asking them, what is a woman? What is a woman? That's the big question. And they're like, well, a woman is someone who has...
who identifies as a woman.
Right, who identifies as someone with tits and a vagina. That's what the lady says. That's what this lady says. Mind you, this is a woman, right? This is born a woman is a woman. Says, yeah. And so the guy goes, are you a woman? She says, yeah, I'm a woman. She said, well, can anybody be a woman? Yeah, anybody can be a woman. As long as you believe you're a woman, then you can be a woman. And he was like, but I thought it was... She was like, no. If you can get the surgery and believe it, then you are a real woman.
So while we're on that topic, I was on Instagram a while back ago, and I saw this one reel. It was where same idea, pride parade asking questions. He would go around asking, "Do you support the transgender movement?" And they'd be like, "Yes, I support that," whatever. And you know where this is going. He'd go to people who look like women, obviously, and obviously probably are women for the most part. And then he would ask him, "So, you're very brave for coming out here as a trans woman to this parade." And remember, these women who think trans women are completely valid and brave and awesome, the second they're accused of being trans themselves, they lose it.
Yeah. They're offended.
Literally, it's like, me, you think I'm a trans woman? And then when he asked, do you find that insulting? They realize they can't say what they actually believe.
Right.
No, I think one of them actually broke down. She's like, "You think I used to be a man?" And then she realized she said the quiet part out loud.
Right.
Interview was done then and there.
Yeah, but that's what's happening is you start questioning that ideology a little bit.
It's contradictory. You can't be both.
Exactly. I have a friend who was a Republican, right? Keyword was. And I was talking to them last night, and they were like, "Yeah, I'm a Democrat," and they're talking about running for vice chair of the Democrats for their state or whatever. And I go, "Okay, what makes you a Democrat?" Right? I'm going to pull up these messages here, and I want to read to you guys what the person said. Hold on. I'm clicking on every message except the one I need. So this is what they said right here. Now, and mind you, this person is a former Republican. I believe in rights for LGBTQ. I don't support...
No plus?
No plus.
Oh, that's that's transphobic, man.
There it is, right? I don't support tax cuts for the rich. I'm pro-choice. I believe in free universal collage, COLLAGE. I believe that climate change is a huge issue. I don't believe in school choice.
What do you think about nuclear power?
They didn't say that.
I'm being serious. Nuclear power, it's such a funny issue because conspiracy theory, very minor one though. I genuinely believe a lot of the hate for nuclear power was created by gas companies to make it seem it's not viable.
Yeah.
Like when people think nuclear power, what do they think of?
Nuclear weapons. They think of
That
atomic bombs.
Chernobyl.
A
3 Mile Island, these and nuclear waste. What do you think nuclear waste looks like?
When you say nuclear waste, the average person's thinking, "Oh, it's going to be nuclear. We can't live there."
No. They think like big metal barrels with gooey stuff that's going to kill you.
They think of the Simpsons episode where they went fishing and put out the three-eyed fish. That's what they're thinking about.
Yeah, but no. What is nuclear power or nuclear energy at the heart of it? It's boiling water.
Yeah.
You heat up water using, nuclear fission. And through that process, you make a lot of energy, frankly. But here's the thing. The amount of waste created is minuscule compared to
anything else.
Anything. Renewables, gas, natural gas, oil, coal. Nothing compares to nuclear energy in the amount of waste it makes.
But the reason a lot of, like you were saying, the gas companies didn't want it, and now I think that idea is going to slowly shift. The question was, we're going to continue to hate it, but in the back rooms, we're going to continue working on it, research on it, to see who can do it better. And whoever wins that race is going to be the first one to come out and say, "Well, guys, actually, this is good." Roommate in college went to a meeting with, I believe it was some oil companies, and there were 3 of them. And he asked the question of, where do you see yourselves in 10 years? The first person, right, said, "Well, we think that we're going to continue doing what we're doing. 10 years down the road, I think we'll be stable." The second person goes, "Well, there's, with the solar power and wind power and all these different things, we're trying to come up with a new way to be sufficient and to sustain ourselves." Then there was the third person who said, "Well, recently we've been looking at nuclear energy and nuclear power and trying to use that to power us, and in the next 10 years be fully run based on that because it's more efficient than what we're doing now." And I go, out of those 3 companies, I can tell you which one's going to survive and which one's going to fall. The one that's going to fall is the one that's going to cave in and say, "Well, we're going to go to solar. We're gonna go to wind. We're gonna go to all this stuff. The renewable, as they like to call it, the energy, and we're gonna use grass to power our car. I believe it was John Kennedy said America's not gonna run on pixie dust.
But do you know the issues with renewables? Like, for the sake of argument, what do you think renewables aren't good?
Well, my personal opinion on, let's say, on the renewables such as wind, right?
Sure.
And you want to use the what are they called? The big things with the blades. I don't know what it was. It's the big things with the blades. What is it called? Wind. That's not a wind turbine, is it? It is a wind turbine. Yeah, the wind turbines. You're doing more damage to the environment with that. You're killing birds. You're doing all these things. Mm-hmm. Secondly, is when the wind stops. Right? The wind stops, what do? You don't have much power when the wind stops. You can say, well, it's storing electricity throughout the day. Good for you. Once that's gone, then what? Because you then have things that rely on rainwater. I believe they're coming out with that. I live in Texas. We can go weeks with no water. We can see a drought like that. We can see no water. What are you going to do then? Renewable energy is you're relying on nature to kind of push you forward, and nature's not as reliable as we think it is. It's very unpredictable, and you don't know when, where, or how it's going to happen.
So, once again, I'm just saying this for the sake of argument. I don't think renewables are really viable on a large scale, aka to power a large city. You won't use a solar farm to power a large city.
Absolutely.
Energy storage is the biggest issue because they can produce a good amount of energy for how much resources you're putting in. The issue is storing it. Currently, our batteries are a limiting factor in most technologies, including power. Mm-hmm. So that's the biggest issue, and that's why Tesla, frankly, I think is going to be making a lot more money in the future. As renewables get more efficient, which I don't think anyone is arguing against, every technology gets more efficient with time.
Absolutely.
So will batteries, and that's how that will become more viable. However, I do think solar panels, and by some instances, wind turbines as well, have viability in small usage. Mm-hmm. For example, a house. Have that solar panel offset the cost of electricity at your house. Yeah. Wind turbines out on a farm, out in the plains where it's a lot more windy than you would be over here. Mm-hmm. Once again, have that out there. Get a battery. You have surplus power
for your house. Yeah,
exactly. Just for your house, not the whole power grid.
One of the things I'll say is the hurricane came through and it kind of knocked the power out in the house, and I have a solar panel lamp in my room, so it sits in the window, and most of the time I'm just letting it charge. So when the power went out, I still had light because I was able to turn that lamp on because it was using solar panel. So I'm not going to sit here and say that I'm 100% against that. That's not me, right? Because like you said, it can be used and it's useful in certain situations. But the idea that you can just use it to power big cities or to even power this country is too far out.
Exactly. And the fact is the amount of resources it would take as well, how expensive they are. Fun fact, you need silver to make solar panels, by the way.
I didn't know that. I didn't need it.
I mean, to be fair, you also need gold to make a lot of electrical components too.
Right.
But it's not to the same level as the amount of silver you need for solar panels.
Mm-hmm. And solar panels aren't small.
No, they're not
small, and they're not cheap. If you really want to do it to power something, you got to put some money into it.
Yep. Give it some good coverage, make sure they're usable.
Mm-hmm. For a long time, selling solar panels was the get-rich-quick scheme.
It really was.
It was the get-rich-quick scheme.
Genuine question while we're on it. Mm-hmm. How many times have you had a salesman go in your neighborhood?
I was just about to say, they come knock on the door. Would you like to buy some solar panels? And the amount of people, after that, who got because, like 2, 3, 4 weeks later, you look up and you're like, oh, they got solar panels. They must have got it from that guy that was here last month, right?
Those Chinese solar panels that last longer than 5 years.
They were on it. They would have someone at our door almost every week trying to sell solar panels. We almost did.
Really? I thought, with your stature, I thought you would have gotten a no soliciting sign outside your house.
We do. And outside my house, no. The neighborhood is a no soliciting neighborhood. I don't know how they were able to pull it off, but they did. No one really questioned it. No one really cared. But,
Yeah, it's better
we almost did it. We were like, maybe we should get solar panels. Because they make great arguments, when the hurricanes come through and you lose your power. The solar panels will stay on.
I genuinely, I don't know why. I don't, like, the part of town I live in, I don't think I've ever lost power.
We've lost it once that I can remember. Every other time we don't really lose power.
Yeah, and regardless, we have generators as well. Mm-hmm. So, if anything happens, we don't need them.
The last 2 storms that have knocked out, 2 or 3 storms that have knocked power out, our, family that did lose power, they'd come to our house because we just didn't lose power out there.
By extension, you remember 2021, winter freeze, half of Texas, was
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Remember that.
Most of our audience does very fondly.
Very
Fondly.
Yeah.
So I tell my friends this. Everyone was telling me horror stories. Oh, we didn't have power for 2 weeks. We didn't have water for like a few days. I had none of those issues. But you know what I tell them the worst part about that freeze was? I had to eat Church's chicken.
That was your worst.
That was the worst part of the freeze for me.
I don't know. What was I didn't have anything. Like, I think at one point, the water, I had messed up because you're supposed to keep the water running.
Yeah, so it doesn't freeze in your pipes.
Right. Well, I went in the kitchen, and I washed my hands, and I turned the water off.
Uh-oh.
So, we lost that water for a little while, but we had water other places. I also remember we had a trampoline at the time in the backyard, and I went outside and I got a big bucket, and I got a shovel. I just started shoveling the snow into the bucket.
The snow in quotations.
The snow.
It
was more so like big
It was powder.
powder ice. It was powdered
ice.
That's
Like we
what it
had
was.
snow a few months ago.
That was
snow.
In January we had snow, but I put it in the bucket. I brought it in the house. I put it on the stove, and I would melt it, and I'd
Really?
give it to like the dog. That was his water bowl. And then I was like, maybe I can drink this. And then I was like, wait a minute, it's got sticks and stuff in it and bugs. I don't want that. But I remember I had fun. I was boiling stuff. Like, life was good. No school. Everything was canceled. Fireplace was going.
And this was like right on the end of COVID too. So
Yeah.
it was like, oh, we're doing this again.
Yeah. So I was like, okay, I'm all for it. But
You know, like I said, I had power, water, internet. I was gaming that entire 2 weeks.
doing great. We had just had like a crawfish boil or something like that, and we had leftover crawfish and shrimp and all that. And
Yep.
so I boiled
So you see,
up.
that's where you beat me because I didn't have that many leftovers. So Church's chicken, it was.
Yeah, no, I don't think we had leftovers. We ate good. I was not worried about it at all. But Church's isn't that bad. I couldn't tell you the last time I
don't
ate
know
it.
if it was the chicken itself or if it was the fact that it was being made while there was a shortage because obviously all the roads are closed.
Right.
I think it's number 2 because there's no reason for it to taste that way.
I couldn't tell you the last time I had Church's, to be honest with you.
That was the only time I've ever had it.
I couldn't. Someone offered, while we're on the topic of chicken, they're like, what are they talking about? Why are they talking about chicken? Listen, folks, I don't know. He brought up Church's. Someone asked me if I wanted to go to the Frenchies across the street, and across the street from U of H and TSU. And the first thing I thought of was Mr. Robert.
Robert Francis.
Mr. Robert Francis, folks.
You know, we're not real Texans if we haven't had it.
You aren't a real Texan if you haven't had
You know-
Frenchie's chicken with Robert Francis.
I think I have to get rid of my license plate now. I don't think I deserve a Texas license plate.
Not at all.
I haven't gone to that chicken place
And you
yet.
got to go with Robert Francis.
Robert Francis. You know, you think he's busy on the phone after having lost the election? Or is he on a suicide watch right
He's
now?
probably in like a meeting or something right now, trying to plan the next election.
Here's how we can win for real this time, the 4th time around.
I wouldn't be surprised if he runs against, whoever comes out of that
Genuine
John Cornyn,
question.
Ken Paxton fight.
Do you think he would try to run against Ted Cruz again?
I think I think, so Ken Paxton just announced that he's running for Senate,
Exactly.
right? And he's going to try to primary John Cornyn. I'm personally not going to give my opinion on that just yet. It's a little too early. Let's see what happens. Let's see what both sides are talking about. John Cornyn, you got a record already, so, I'm not going to, speak too early on you. But maybe you pull something out of your jacket. I don't know. But what if we have Ken Paxton versus Robert Francis?
Does he just like wasting people's money?
That is what we pay money
for
to
the
see right there.
next show. I want you to look up how much money he's raised on his campaigns up to this point.
All money raised combined.
Yep, except the ones where he was actually in Congress.
Okay.
Because obviously that's
So
we'll get
every
to that.
losing election,
Exactly.
we'll see. Next show, folks, we're going to come back and we're going to break down Robert Francis's finances because he just can't get it together.
Watch it. We uncover some really shady, money laundering scheme.
Then the banks are going to come back after us.
Yep. You.
We can't afford
After
that.
you.
After me. The banks.
I paid off the banks. I work for the banks.
The banks have been coming after me, folks, for the
I'm
last.
a finance major.
They're no longer after me, but
They will.
last
I'm gonna
month,
send you to collections, dog, and
Last
then
month.
they're gonna be after you.
the banks were knocking at my door, and I was like, I didn't do it. It wasn't me.
They had helicopters and everything.
I remember that. Yeah, they had the helicopters outside and everything. But it wasn't me. Okay, folks, the banks are no longer after me. We're doing a good job, if you ask me, actually. We're moving up the
Ask.
ladder. No, it's axed. Okay, that was hard X. That was a hard X. I'm sorry. If you ask me.
There we go.
If you ask me. If you ask me, I like it with the more southern twang.
It's on southern
It's a
twang.
little southern twang.
That's a bit more.
It's southern. Thank you very much. It's southern.
If you want to cope that way, I'm not going to stop you.
I'm gonna send you a video later about it. It's okay. He doesn't watch my videos, folks. Let me tell you something about inside scoop on the Patriots den here, because we're on that 20-minute mark, and I like to give you inside scoops, and we haven't had any inside scoops, folks. Every morning before we do the show, we sit down in a room. Now, mind you, me and Brian see each other every day. Every day. Every morning, me and Brian, we sit down in a room, and you know what Brian asked me?
Ask. It's not that hard.
It feels like he's axing me when he does it, with an axe to the neck right here. Do you know what he says? He goes, Pat! What are we talking about today? And I look at him, and I go, Brian, this is what we're talking about. Now, mind you, me and Brian see each other every day, all day. Quite frankly, can't get rid of the guy.
That being said,
But-
he's still dodging me.
But
You're still dodging.
But
I'm telling you, let's go play today.
I
8 ball.
told Brian, I say, Brian, I didn't do it for this show because it doesn't matter. And I was like, Brian, I'm going to send you the stuff we're going to talk about on the show. And I sent him a long message of clips and everything of what we're going to talk about on the show.
This is fake news.
I sent
He
it
does
to
not
him
do this.
on messages. I sent it to him on Instagram. I sent him all these different things. And Brian will give me one of two excuses. We come down, we sit down, and he says, well, what are we talking about? And I'm like, I sent it to you. And he'll go, oh, I didn't want to watch all that. Just break it down for me real quick. Or he'll go, oh, I didn't see it. I thought you were going to send it to me on Instagram. Did your phone not get the notification that it went to your text messages? It's always either I didn't see it or I saw it, I didn't want to read it. It's never, Pat, I looked at everything, you talked to me, you sent me, I'm ready for the show, let's go in here, drink a bottle of water, let's just recap real quick and let's get the show on the road. It's never that. It's always, Pat, what are we talking about?
This is fake news, ladies and gentlemen. This is, the banks may be after you, but looks like the establishment is after me with this one.
Is it really though?
You are the establishment.
Am I?
You are the big media.
I can't deny that. The Patriots did is the big media. We got the kazoo orchestra and everything working for us.
On
folks.
payroll.
On payroll. The kazoo orchestra is on payroll here.
They're not as big as us.
No.
This is as big as it gets. This is the big media right here.
Exactly.
And they're after me, folks. With this
just put a little-
propaganda.
Little Trump sip right there. He's like, click. Oh, bam. They didn't even see it. It was so fast.
So-called person that sees me every day. Not enough time to, finish that game of pool, though.
Did I see you yesterday, Brian?
Yes, we did.
What was I wearing?
You were wearing a white jacket and a white hat.
Exactly.
What was I wearing?
You were wearing a green shirt and some khaki shorts.
Nope.
Yes, you were.
Jeans yesterday.
No, you were not.
I was wearing jeans.
I saw you after the gym, bud. Calm down.
Oh, no. I didn't have shorts at all. I was wearing jeans all day. I was hitting arms, so I didn't need to wear shorts.
All I remember is he walked in a green shirt and he had 2 sweat stains underneath his chest right here. And a big sweat stain on his back. I said, that's nasty. Get away from me. That's what I said. I don't know what he had on for his pants because I wasn't paying attention to his pants. Did he pay attention to my pants? No, he said a white jacket and a white hat. Okay, then. We're moving on. So this is what I have to deal with, folks. To bring you the media, to bring you the news of how great Trump is doing. Inflation rate dropping to 2.4, lower than expected in March.
2.7, I thought.
Oh, Brian, it's 2.4. 2.4. Let me read you the article, folks, because Brian, he don't know. Thank you so much. The annual inflation rate in the U.S. eased for a second consecutive month to 2.4 in March of 2025. The lowest since September, down from 2.8 in February and below forecast of 2.6. Prices for gasoline, instead of 9.8, it's 3.1, and fuel oil, instead of 7.6, is 5.1. They fell more while natural gas prices soared, unfortunately. Inflation also slowed for shelter, used cars, trucks, and transportation. While prices were unchanged for new vehicles, on the other hand, inflation accelerated for food compared to previous months. The CPI decreased 0.1%, the first fall since May of 2021, compared to expectations of a 0.1% gain. The index for energy fell 2.4 as a 6.3 decline in gasoline more than offset increases in electricity and natural gas. Meanwhile, annual core inflation eased to 2.8, the lowest since March of 2021, and below forecasts of 3% on a monthly basis. The core CPI ended up 0.1, below expectations of 0.3. So we're seeing an up and down. It's kind of like the markets.
Just like the markets.
Inflation, it's still up. It still costs some time for things, but we're seeing the inflation rate, go down, and hopefully we'll see inflation itself as a whole go down, and we'll see prices go down. I have trust in Trump that he will, hold steadfast to the promise of make America great again.
Whoa, that was a lot. Your throat all right? You might need another quick sip right there.
Trump sip. We all ready?
Let's do it. Oh, quick.
When Trump did that, they're like, I think he's got Parkinson's or something.
Really? That was their excuse? But, Biden falling off a bicycle, that's perfectly normal.
Yeah. They were like, he can't hold the water with one hand. He had to go in, and he was like, I just wanted to get my lips wet. And I was like, all right, Trump.
Okay.
You go for it, sir. Right? But how many days into the presidency? I think we're like at 80. I think we're at 80 because last week it was at 70. Last week we were in the 70s, and that's 7 days a week. So
actually,
borderline 77.
I think we're a bit more than that. No, wait, no. High 80s. I remember
80.
February is a 28-day month. Yeah. So.
Okay, 80s. Okay, so what?
High 80s.
That's what,
high 80s, low 90s.
So two more shows until we hit the 100?
Yeah, for sure. 2 shows.
Are y'all ready? Are y'all excited?
Actually, what is that going to land on? Let's see.
Well, we may come in and it may be day 103, but it's still like 100 days. Now, it would be great if 100 days
I'm gonna check right
now. On what's today? Thursday?
Yep.
If we can get 100 days on Thursday, folks, that's going to be amazing. That's going to be amazing. And then we're going to move, folks, this after we figure this out, once we get to that 30-minute mark, we got 30 minutes to talk about a topic that's been buzzing in the media, buzzing in the news, that I tried to stay away from. But we're going to talk about Austin Metcalf and Carmelo.
All right. And let's see if we have good news.
Mm.
Oh, you're going to hate me for this. We're going to have day 101 for the show.
Oh! We're moving the show to Wednesday, folks. We'll see y'all on Wednesday. It doesn't matter. Talk to production. Talk to Radiodabang. Talk to who we need to talk about. We'll see you on Wednesday. It's okay. Don't even worry about it. Don't even worry about it. But we'll let that. We got 2 more shows. 2 more.
We shall see.
2 more, right? 2 more shows.
2 shows.
2 shows. 2 shows. So next week,
April 30th will be the 100th day of his administration.
That's beautiful. That's wonderful. I love it. I love it. Now, folks, I want to move on to another topic here that's been buzzing the media. Have you heard about it? Yeah, he probably hasn't even heard because, he doesn't look at my messages.
He hasn't sent anything, by the way.
He doesn't send anything. It's been all over the media. It's been all over it's been everywhere. Metcalf and Carmelo. The stabbing that happened at the Texas
the track meet.
Track meet.
See? Fake news over here saying I don't know. All over what? Telling him to please move over. This is where my team's going to sit.
That's what they say. I'm going to let you go first. Go ahead. Go first.
All right.
I'm about to have a very much Patrick Prudhomme Patriots Den moment.
All righty. So, for those of y'all who may not have been keeping up with the news, this is a very summarized version as I don't know every detail of the story. And based on Mr. Prudhomme's reaction to that sentence, I believe he knows more than I do here, maybe. A very, young Caucasian man, 4.0 GPA student, great guy. He
That's media propaganda, folks.
Oh, there he goes. He's already
joking.
Setting himself up. He's setting himself up already.
I'm joking. I'm joking. Continue.
Was he confronted a young African American teenager at a track meet, asked him to move out of the way since that is where the team was supposed to sit. To which this future doctor and lawyer decided to stab the man to death.
I don't know if you future doctor.
And, it's a big story because it's like, what if the roles were reversed? This would have been George Floyd 2.0, unwarranted killing of a future lawyer or doctor right there. But, that's very abridged version, very quick. So, Mr. Prudhomme, seems like you have the actual story pulled out. So, let's see.
So, I'm guessing you're on Austin Metcalf's. This is your...
Obviously.
So sad, right? Folks, it's a tragedy. It's a tragedy. We should keep both families in our prayers, right? One lost a lot. Both families have lost a life. That's the sad truth about it. Austin Metcalf is deceased, and I forgot Carmelo. Hey, Carmelo Anthony. I don't know what that man's name is. It's something stupid. Let me pull it up here. Carmelo Anthony. I knew I got it right. Carmelo Anthony, his life is ruined as well, no matter what happens. But I think it's important that we look at the truth behind it.
Here we go.
Okay, that's what the Patriots Den here is for. We're here to give you the truth. I hear what the media is saying. I know what the noise is saying, but here's the truth, right? Austin Metcalf walked up to Carmelo Anthony, and it is there where an altercation took place. Right? Carmelo Anthony was not walking around stabbing people. That's not what happened.
I don't think anyone said that, though.
That's the thing. A lot of people are just saying, he just kind of stabbed the guy. That's not what happened. Austin Metcalf walks over to the tent and tells Carmelo Anthony, move. And from what we know, Austin Metcalf and Carmelo Anthony have history. This isn't the first time they met each other. They've met each other before. Pictures have come out of them at a party. It was the twin brothers and Anthony. That's his name, right? Yeah. So we know they have a history. And Austin Metcalf tells Carmelo to move. Carmelo is like, don't touch me, man. Keep your hands to yourself. Austin Metcalf then pushes Carmelo. Carmelo says, hey, man, don't touch me. That's when Austin Metcalf grabs him. They say that a fight broke out between the two. And that's when Carmelo pulls his hand out the bag, stabs Austin Metcalf. As Austin falls, Carmelo, runs. The twin brother's already right there and just kind of holds his brother as he describes his soul left his body. Carmelo, when talking to the cops, they were like, hey, there was a fight that broke out. He put his hands on you. You stabbed him. We're still going to take you in, things of that nature. Now, here's a life lesson for people at home. You probably shouldn't put your hands on anybody. That's number one. You play stupid games.
Win stupid prizes.
I'm not saying that there's a right side to this story at all. Lives were lost. That's the truth. But we cannot sit here and make it seem as if Austin Metcalf is 100% innocent. He walked up and he put his hands on Carmelo. Carmelo then reacted. It takes two to tango. And that's what happened. It was a tango. And unfortunately, the consequences of that is Austin Metcalf is no longer here with us. Could have Austin Metcalf have handled that situation a lot differently and he'd still be alive today? Absolutely. 100%. For the people that are saying, well, he shouldn't have had a knife on him. Everyone I will hang out with on a day-to-day basis carries a knife with them. Let's not make... First off, this is Texas. They changed the NRG Stadium rules to allow legal-sized knives into the rodeo. This is Texas. There's a knife everywhere you go. The people commenting that are the same people walking around with a gun on their right side and a knife on their left. So let's be...
So you think knives are good for self-defense then?
Oh, absolutely. I'd stab somebody in a quick minute. I walk around, with a knife. You just never know. You never know, right? What you'll need a knife for, to, cut some string or something like that. I'm not walking around with the intentions to stab anybody, but we cannot sit here and act like that in Texas, people are not walking around with pocket knives, because that's what it was. It was a pocket knife. It wasn't anything, from what we know so far, it was a pocket knife. Details may come out later that it was a big old kitchen knife dagger. Then I'm going to be like, okay, wait a minute.
Premeditated.
This was, nobody, just takes a butcher knife and puts it in their bag and walks around with it. That's American killer psychopath stuff. I'll come back on the show. We'll revamp the situation. But from right now, we know it was a black knife. Wasn't too big or anything crazy. It fit in the bag, pull out, stab, right? So we got to hold both parties accountable. If you walk up to someone and they say, hey, don't touch me, and you touch them, is what happens next truly their fault?
Yeah, I guess that's arguable. The whole self-defense thing. You gave them a warning. You told them to not, do a certain thing. Mm-hmm. They still do. So anyways, but I guess my response would be a retaliation of equal force. I think, stabbing a guy whenever you're having a little scuffle isn't necessarily an equal reaction.
Correct.
And just by that alone, I think that would put the blame mainly on Carmelo. Just simply for the fact that he unequally escalated the situation. You could argue that maybe he shouldn't have put his hands on him. That's fine. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, he also asked him to move, and he didn't move from a place that he wasn't supposed to be sitting at, which is, if I remember correctly, doesn't change in either version of our stories.
So,
and you really didn't elaborate either on them having a history together. You just said they were at a party once, and that's all you said.
Well, they knew each other, right?
Yeah.
They were at a party together, so they knew each other. They took a picture together. So, you're not just taking pictures with random people at parties. That's typically not how that works. And then, a couple of days down the line, you get stabbed by the guy. There's more there that's hidden. I know Anthony, his phone was broken during the altercation. I think Metcalf broke his phone or something like that. No, I'm sorry. Carmelo's phone was broken. Anthony broke Carmelo's phone. Right? So Anthony, a 17-year-old senior at Centennial High School just 5 miles away, was allegedly told he was sitting in the wrong seat. He then allegedly drew a knife and pierced Metcalf through the heart, to the dead teen's father, Jeff Metcalf, told. So the dad in the situation, the parents for Metcalf have also been, twisting the story a lot. Of course, that's their child, so it's traumatic, so they're not getting everything correct. But they're trying to make it out as if their child was doing absolutely nothing wrong.
But to be fair, though, from what I've heard as well, the parents are also trying to paint Carmelo in a better light as well. Mm. Trying to, at least his father, I've heard, is.
For Carmelo's father?
No. Metcalf.
Metcalf? No.
Really?
No. Absolutely.
It shows you how much misinformation there is then.
Yeah, and that's I know there's a police department that is actually, trying to crack down on the misinformation that's coming out about the case. There's a picture of Carmelo going around of him holding a gun. And everyone's seen that picture. Number one, the gun's not real. It's an airsoft gun. Number two, it's actually a group photo of him and two other white kids that are all posing. I guess they just got an airsofting or something. That's what that picture is, right? So there's a lot of misinformation going on about this case. And because of that, that's typically how justice gets skewered. So don't be surprised if Metcalf walks. I mean, not Metcalf. Metcalf's not. Metcalf is the one that's dead. Don't be surprised if Anthony walks, because
I wouldn't say he walks, just for the, once again, unequal, the escalation of force. That's really the issue.
The case is, it's great. You can easily make the case for it. For what we know is both twins were kind of in the vicinity. You could argue that, you fear for your life. You have these big twin brothers that are bigger than you, coming up to you, grabbing you, smashing your phone. You fear for your life. You have to do what you have to do. Maybe the only thing they could get him, the one case that I think is really going to be an easy stick, is he had a weapon on the school campus. That could stick if they go that route.
Yeah.
But the self-defense route, it's very
viable.
Easy.
It's very viable.
It's very
Brain fart.
I'm reading, and so the other brother said that he had never met Metcalf, but some people are saying that that's not true, which is why I'm saying there's a lot of misinformation out there.
Yeah, I mean, we'll know for sure in the coming weeks.
Exactly.
Whenever everything comes out, court case starts, So, I mean, best thing you can do here is just send thoughts and prayers to both families.
Yes, but that's really what it is. And so I would highly suggest that both sides, stop with the misinformation. This is also what has happened that we've, this generation has resulted in weak, senseless violence to solve their issues. If someone's sitting in your chair, I don't know if you just randomly, be like, I'm going to move you myself. Like, okay, tough guy, stop it. Yeah, it's not the first thing you do. I'm sure there were other seats. You don't have to, Also, if, there's an altercation and it's really getting to that point, you can always just run it out back. Just like they used to do. Throw the hands.
That's the one best about Texas.
Winner take all.
In this state, you can get into a fight and not get in trouble for it, as long as it's consensual.
Mutual combat.
Yep.
But that's what happens when you have this thug mentality from both sides. Who's the bigger and badder guy? Well, neither of you, because one's in jail and the other's dead. So, at the end of the day, neither of you were big or bad.
Yeah, y'all both lost.
Big time.
Yeah.
Big time. Right? And that just goes back to, how is a kid raised and, the fundamentals. You can say, well, both people in this situation, both of them came from a two-parent household in the suburbs.
Yep.
Both of them had, education. Both of them were star football players. Both
social
of them were
as well.
Varsity. Both of them were track stars. Both of them were socially accepted. So you can't make any arguments of, that one was, raised by thugs. Yeah. The culture of today is being the big bad thug. The culture of today is, I'm hard, I can do this, and that, I'm a man. And I'm going to prove that I'm a man. But at what extent do you go to prove that you're a man? Is it truly, the man thing to, see someone in your chair and you're such a man that I'm going to move him myself. Now you're dead.
Yeah.
Right? Is that truly the man thing? Or is the man thing of being the bigger person and I really don't care? And I have nothing to prove. You want the chair, you got it. That's all yours. There's been so many countless deaths that has happened here recently that I've been seeing because someone wanted to prove just how much of a man they were. There was a pastor here recently was in an argument with a woman. And to prove he was just this big bad man, he gets out of his truck and walks up on the woman shoots him. All because he wanted to be like, I'm the big bad man. So at what point do you define masculinity? Are you masculine because you can argue and you can tussle and fight? Or are you the bigger man because you can, be like, my goal is to make it home today. And my goal is not to prove anything. If you truly know that you're the greatest at what you do, if you're truly the biggest and the baddest, you don't have to prove it to nobody.
Exactly.
That's simple. That's as simple as it gets. And both of these boys could have learned that lesson. If they would have heard this a little bit earlier, they'd both still be here with us. Well,
yeah.
The other one's, he's still here with us. He's not dead, but he's in jail. So technically he's not here with us. That makes sense, yeah. The other one, though, he's deceased. He is no longer with us. God rest his soul.
Dancing with the angels.
Well, folks, no comment on that at all. No comment at all. But yeah, prayers to the family. And let's not tussle with people who have their hands in their bags.
Amazing.
That's a good lesson.
So, Mr. Prudo, I know it's going to be a massive mood shift, given how somber we just were.
So somber. I know, folks.
So, have you heard about the biggest movie of this year that's currently in theaters?
If you say Minecraft. Hold on.
That's a sign, if I've ever seen one.
I dropped my top.
Have you seen it?
No, I've not.
Any plans to see it?
No.
Really?
No.
Why not?
Because it's Minecraft.
Yeah.
Do you know the last time I played Minecraft? It was
know.
like middle school.
Patrick, when's the last time you played a game that wasn't some quick game on your phone?
Quite frankly, I'm an NCAA fanatic. Love NCAA. Play it all the time.
Right. Fair enough.
Thank you.
But regardless, You've probably heard about the movie, everything that's been going on around the screenings of the movie. You know, the police being called, the fireworks being lit in the movie theaters.
I was not aware of that. I thought people were just getting up at the end of the theater going, "Jolly good show."
No.
Jolly good show.
Not even. So people are losing it. Like there's videos of people grabbing popcorn buckets, just chucking them across the theater.
Why?
Throwing slushies at the screen.
Why?
Like losing their stuff whenever like they say certain lines in the movie. Like
Why?
if you go on Instagram, go on YouTube, anything, you search up Minecraft movie, chicken jockey, cinema. You will see all kinds of videos of where people are like genuinely crashing out once they hear that line in the movie. It was to the point where like police officers are being called to certain screenings of this movie to like stop people from, you know, trashing the theater.
This is breaking news, folks. I'm sorry, breaking news right here. The House has passed the Senate-approved budget plan. The House just passed the Senate-approved budget plan. 2 Republicans voted no, 212 Democrats voted no, so it passed 216 to 214. Donald Trump comes out and says, "Congratulations to the House on the passage of a bill that sets the stage for one of the greatest and most important signings in the history of our country. Among many other things, it will be the largest tax and regulation cut ever seen and ever even contemplated." Trump, I don't think you did this correctly, but it's okay. "Make America great again." So
why don't you give us some details about those?
I don't know nothing about it, to be honest with you. But it's the biggest and the baddest you've ever seen. Hopefully this opens window up to the, you know, no tax on tips, no tax on Social Security, all these different things that were laid out. But we had to get that budget. We had to get that budget plan done. One of the best ways that I like to say it, somebody explained it, was you have a truck, correct? You have a truck, and on the back of your truck is you have a trailer, and you got to back that trailer up to load in the cattle. None of that is possible without the truck, though. That budget plan is our truck. That budget plan is what's going to drive us to the destination and get us what we need to get done. So the House passing that just now is, you know, huge. It happened 20
A big thing is the budget, though. They're trying to raise debt ceiling.
They're trying to raise that debt ceiling so they can get some stuff done, get some stuff through. So that just happened. That's big news live here on the Patriots Den.
Oh, actually. Another thing is a lot of Donald Trump's 2017 tax cuts will be made permanent by this bill as well.
Oh, wow. So, yeah, this is huge. This is huge, folks. So a lot of the tax cuts that people were still writing on under, even when Biden was president, the tax cuts were so good that Biden didn't touch them until later on in his administration. They're going to make those permanent. So this is big news coming to us live. This just happened.
Will take months to complete. So.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. But it's the fact that the plan was done. The House has passed the Senate-approved budget plan, right? So it was on the motion to concur the Senate amendment. It was just an amendment. Nothing is, you know, there's still going to be a couple more votes. But if that plan was passed, I think it'll move smoothly from here, and it'll just end with Trump signing it on his desk. I say give it about a month or two.
Yep. I mean, midterms aren't for another 1 year, year and a half. So
it's going to, I say give it about 2 months. Give it 2 months. They still have other stuff that they have to vote on, other stuff they have to pass. Marjorie Taylor Greene's Gulf of America Act. It passed committee, and it's going to be voted on the House floor as well to, you know, permanently rename the Gulf of America to the Gulf of America.
Amen.
Right? So it won't be, you know, be able to change by the striking of an executive order pen, but you would actually have to go through the legislative process. And a lot of those Republican Congress people, they're doing that. They're just taking Trump's executive order, and that's their bill.
Yep. Make it into law.
Make it to law. Make it to law so when the next administration comes in, they can't mess everything up. Let's keep America on track. Let's keep making America great again. That's how you do it. So that was big news. I'm sorry that we stopped talking about people throwing slushies at the Minecraft Steve Harvey screen or whatever it is.
Steve Harvey.
Yeah, something. I don't know what his name is.
It's Jack Black, actually.
Jack Black's in the movie.
He's Steve, literally. He's the main character.
So is he like square in the movie?
He's
or
fat.
Is he...
Very fat.
But he's fat. But is that like... But is like the world square? Or is
the
it
world
like...
is square, but all the people are normal.
Why? That's not Minecraft then.
I'll tell you this. The movie sucks. The plot of the movie makes zero sense. There's no plot.
It's Minecraft. When you're playing Minecraft, do you really have a plot?
I think I could have made
other than I'm gonna build this house.
I could have made a better plot. I genuinely think I could have.
So what's like? How does it end with him dying or something?
I'm not gonna spoil the movie for our glorious watchers who.
No one watching this show is going to watch the Minecraft show.
I disagree. I think you're underestimating our Gen Z audience.
Folks, don't go watch it.
You should watch it.
Don't go watch it.
As long as
How long is the movie?
2 hours ish.
That's 2 Patriot shows. You could go back and watch 2 of our shows and get educated.
Or you could have peak cinema.
Or you could get somebody to throw a slushie at the back of your head while you're trying to watch a movie. You tell me which one sounds more entertaining. I'm going to go with watching the Patriots Den. Especially when I'm on my caffeine runs. Go back and watch the show of me being Dr.
But think about it. If you get a slushie thrown at your head while watching a movie, you'll never have to pay for a movie ticket ever again.
Why?
Because you just see the shit out of them. Like,
You can't sue the theater for someone else throwing a slushie at your
they
head.
allowed it to happen.
They did.
It's America. You can sue anyone.
This is why when you go to like baseball games and stuff, they don't give you a top on top of your water because they're scared you're gonna throw the top at somebody's head. They don't give you like water bottles and stuff anymore because you're gonna. When I went to the inauguration, that's how it was. Like they gave us a top, but the drink, but there was no top. I was like, "Where's my top?" And they were like, "No tops." Because if you're gonna throw something, you got to throw this whole drink, and I highly doubt you want to get rid of this cup. And I was like, "You're right." That's what you're gonna turn the theater into. Secret Service is gonna be watching people so they don't drop their popcorn.
Only at the Minecraft movie, though.
And why? What kind of people are going to watch this Minecraft movie?
I will say this. A lot of people, actually. But it's for different reasons. A lot of kids, obviously, Minecraft, I'm going to go watch it. Kids movie.
The people throwing the popcorn.
There are people who grew up with it, and the people who have made fun of the movie who want to go watch it too, basically.
Throw popcorn at it. So disruptors, agitators,
okay.
protesters,
I didn't throw
rioters, thugs, criminals, gangsters.
I saw it last weekend. Mm-hmm. No one in our theater threw any popcorn or anything. But we would like have standing ovations for certain parts of the movie.
Brian, please tell me you didn't stand up and have a standing ovation to Jack Black being fat, riding a bumblebee.
He didn't ride a bumblebee.
I don't know what he did, but tell me you didn't stand up and clap.
Look at the time, folks.
We got 10 minutes. Where you going? Actually, we got 1 minute because we gotta do rapid fire.
Yeah. Nice weather we're having.
Yeah. Judge him accordingly, folks.
I plead the fifth. I didn't say I did or didn't do it. God will be the judge of me, not man.
The Bible tells us to judge righteously. I'm making righteous judgment here, Brian.
You haven't seen the movie. You can't judge.
I'm not judging the movie.
You have no context of it.
I'm not judging you. I'm not judging the movie. I'm judging you for standing up and clapping for Jack Black.
Which you have no proof I did or didn't do.
Left-wing extremist Jack Black.
You have no proof.
Did you disavow the people standing up clapping for left-wing extremist?
That's a minute, right? Yeah, that's a minute. 50. Boom.
Did you? This is when I'm using this for my rapid fire.
Really?
Rapid fire is my question. Did you disavow people clapping for left-wing extremist Jack Black?
I did not have
clapping relations with that movie.
With that movie.
Okay. I'm the last person to say that, that was a lie. So
read between the lines then. You should watch it.
I'm not.
I will buy your ticket.
Oh, I'll go. Buy
Really?
popcorn too. I want the pickaxe popcorn bucket.
I thought you didn't care about
so I can
Minecraft.
hit you in the head with it if you stand up and clap.
I'm gonna stay on the other part of the theater.
I throw it. You said people throwing it. I'm gonna join the throwing party. Hit you right
With your
in the head.
arms? Yeah. I've seen you throw. You can't throw.
Do you know what a drink full of ice? You carry some weight.
Well, that's
I'm a football thrower.
Well, get this.
That's the only way I'm gonna be able to do it. Is if I football throw it and give it a little spiral.
It's popcorn though. You're throwing popcorn, not a drink.
I'll buy a drink and throw it. I'm not wasting my good popcorn on you, bud.
I'm gonna sit a certain person next to me, who's bigger than me. So it'll be a meat shield.
It'll be like a meat shield. Maybe they eat the popcorn before it gets to you.
A certain DeSoto legend would be a very great
We're
meat
getting
shield.
canceled after this show. Right. We're getting canceled. Yeah, folks. The establishment is really after Brian now. But so Brian used 2 of my minutes of rapid fire to talk about him clapping at a Minecraft movie.
Which you have no proof of.
Right. So, because of that, we're going to make these 2 minutes that have gone, we're going to give them to Brian instead. Brian, welcome to Rapid Fire, buddy. Go ahead. Talk to the people.
So, these tariffs, man, they're something all right. I know every show we talk about the tariffs. You know why? I made the poor decision to invest in the stock market before the tariffs were announced.
Poor baby.
Yeah. So, in my portfolio, I haven't sold anything, thankfully. So, technically, I haven't lost a single penny. But that also means I can't liquidate right now, which means that money's stuck there. Which is the thing about investing, Pat. You can, in theory, you don't lose if you don't sell, but
Exactly.
you can't sell, which means that money's gone.
Don't sell then.
That
Keep
money's
it. Hold on to it. Don't let it go.
The money's gonna be gone, Pat. You know, college is expensive, Pat.
It is.
You know, it would be a lot less expensive if someone would, you know, stop owing me $50 too.
Call the banks.
Last time we did that, you were gone for a whole episode.
That is true. Folks, they got me. I went MIA. Missing in action. But we were able to get the amazing, wonderful Nathan Bigelow to take my spot until I could finish escaping from the banks. Great guy, Nathan Bigelow. Watched the Legislative Lounge. Amazing show. I was lost and don't know what they're doing or where they're going or where they're coming from. Nathan Bigelow, man, he's a sharp guy. He's a sharp guy when it comes to the economy, when it comes to all those executive orders. The guy knows what he's talking about.
Exactly. When we had him on the show after you had your little disappearance, the guy knew he was talking about. We had very in-depth conversations about certain topics.
Nathan's got it going on, right? We're not so we thank him for coming on the show.
Yep.
And, you know, laying down those facts. So y'all watch the Legislative Lounge with Nathan Bigelow on Saturdays. And if you're up early enough, you can also watch the Chris Heasley show on Saturdays. That comes on right before the Nathan Bigelow show. So you got like a little trifecta, a little three-way like that. Don't miss out on the Patriots then, though. This is first for you. This is
priority numero uno.
Number one, baby. That's why we're on Thursday. You know, right in the middle of the week. Right in the middle of the week. I know the week gets hectic. Monday, you're tired. Tuesday, you're over it. Wednesday, you're like, what is going on? And then Thursday, you wake up bright and early to watch the Patriots. And then
it's that final push, you know, before Friday.
Right before Friday. It's almost Friday, folks. We're giving you that one final push like, hey, it's Friday. We've made it. And then on Saturday, you have the Legislative Lounge and the Chris Healy Show to get you through the weekend.
And that's it.
And
New
Monday,
week.
Tuesday, Wednesday, you're like, and then we come right back to me and Brian.
Exactly.
And y'all love us. We love you. We can play patty cake or whatever y'all want to do. That's a bar. I love you. I lost it.
Yeah.
I lost it. I'm sorry.
Well, thank y'all for coming. Thank y'all for listening.
We have 5 minutes. See, he tries to get rid of y'all because he knows that within the last 5 minutes, that's when I turn on. That's when I get boom, 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 boom. I love you. You love me. We are a happy family.
Here we go.
With a great big hug and a kiss from me and you, won't you say you love me too?
No.
Okay. It's all right, folks. Next week, it's going to say Patrick Prudhomme host, and it's going to say Brian Fuentes co-host, but he's not going to be in that chair. He's not going to be here.
He's going to send the establishment after me. You heard it here, folks. No conspiracy theories, no JFK level leaks needed. You'll know he did it himself. And it's going to be over. I'm going to be gone. I'm going to be replaced by, a great friend, Mr. Nate, but I won't be here. And it's going to be all because of Mr. Prudhomme. He admitted it on record, on file, on video, in 4K. How do you feel?
I feel good. I feel great, actually. Thank you very much. I am making no threats, only promises and predictions.